All right, hey there, viewers. So, a little bit of a different video today. Instead of fixing a car, I'm going to be fixing my fridge. Yeah, this is going to be the second time I've fixed this fridge because the first time I had the, blue screen, checkered blue screen of death, or whatever you call it. But yeah, the fridge was completely not working, and I think what happens is the power went out, and when it came back on, it stopped working. I ended up replacing a bunch of capacitors in the circuit board in the back of the fridge. Yeah, because I went through the circuit board and I took a look, and what I found was like the capacitor was kind of swollen, and yeah, it just cost me like $2 for a bunch of capacitors, and I resoldered new capacitors, and yeah, it started working again. But this time, I'm dealing with my freezer. The freezer kind of, after a while, it fills up with water and it freezes over, and then yeah, it got my floor wet, and you can see it's kind of like ruined my floors. And yeah, it's already starting to do it all over again because it's already collecting ice down here. And once this thing is full of ice, it leaks out. And I think what happens is the back, when it goes through a defrost, there's supposed to be a drain, just like your AC in your car. But I think that thing is plugged up, and what happens is when it plugs up, it freezes over the hole, and it doesn't allow it to drain, and is draining out of the front of the freezer here. So I'm gonna pull out this freezer, or pull out my fridge, and show you what's behind this thing. Yeah, so if you have this style of fridge, I guess what you call them is like a French door, and you have the freezer on the bottom. But it's like a KitchenAid. I think they're all about the same, like the Whirlpool and all that stuff. There's the model number up there. So if you're having the same issue, this video might help you. So yeah, stay tuned. So first thing I'm gonna do is I want to unplug this fridge. As you can see, like down here, it's already kind of it's been wet, and then now it's dried, and it's got the wavy look to it. Okay, so once you're back down here, there's like a little panel you can take off. It's just held in by a couple screws, and then here's your panel. So in here, you got like a drip tray right here, and here's that little drain tube. And then you can actually remove this. Pull it out. Yeah, there you go. It's like a little slide for that drain. And then up there is let me see if you can get that. Here's your drain. It's like that. It's all covered in gunk. So that gets plugged up, and then when it gets plugged up, water collects and it freezes over, and then it never drains. Yeah, that little rubber thing, it's just it kind of looks like the things that they put on for your sunroof drain in your car, and then when water gets to it, it expands and it opens and allows it to drain. But at the same time, it always collects a bunch of crap in it, and it gets plugged up, and this is probably what I'm having with my fridge. Yeah, so it's all plugged up. So I think I'm just gonna remove it and just put this thing back. Maybe just give it a good cleaning. It's supposed to like drip into this tray here, and then once it fills up, I think it's supposed to be evaporate or something. I don't know. I'm not I don't fix fridge, but I think that's what it does. I'm gonna remove the door in the front, and then there's an access panel, and then I'm gonna try and melt out all the ice and make sure that this hole here is clear. That way it allows the water to drip out rather than freeze over. So yeah, I just take the front door off. It's only held in by 4 screws. You just loosen it and it just hook onto it. But what I'm trying to get at is this panel back here, and it's only held in by 4 screws. And as you can see, where the water kind of runs down here, and it fills up the bottom here, and it ices over, and then once that's full, it leaks out of the front of the freezer door. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take that panel off and try to melt that ice so I can clear out that hole. So rather than dripping it on my floor, it drips into that pan in the back. So just before you take off the back panel, you gotta take these, I guess, trim pieces. So you just need a flathead screwdriver. You push it in, right? Just to release this back piece. Same thing with the that little wire dangling with, like, I think maybe a temperature sensor or something. Just same thing. There's a little hole to push in the tabs for that this cover, And that's about it. All right, so I got the back panel off. This is what it looks like back here. I want to call it the evaporator, like what you have in your car. But what happens is these things will ice over and it'll go through a defrost cycle just so it can melt off all the ice on there. I guess it just makes it more efficient. And all that ice has to go somewhere, or the melted ice or water has to drain somewhere, and it goes down through that hole. And yeah, that hole is plugged up because it's iced over, as you can see. So I'm just gonna have to melt that and make sure the drain is clear, and that should fix my water leaking from my freezer. So yeah, anyways, I hope that helps. Yeah, there you go. That hole's free now. And it's draining in there. So yeah, there you go. So I took the back panel off. I guess this is a circuit board that controls the fridge. The first time I had to fix it was because I got the blue checkered screen of death on the front of the fridge, and I guess what happened was we had a power outage, and yeah, when the power came back on, it wasn't working. So I wanted to see what's wrong, so I took out the back, and there was like a panel here, and yeah, I took a look at the circuit board and see if I noticed anything that was wrong. And the little capacitors, a few of them were kind of like bulging. And yeah, I took the circuit board out, went to the electronics store, and I asked the guy there, like, hey, I need these capacitors. Do you have them? And they're like, yeah, we got like a bunch of them. And I think I got like each one of them, like the amount of capacitors I needed for the circuit board. It only cost me like $2-3. And yeah, I resoldered them back in and put it back in the fridge, and my fridge started working, and I was like, sweet. But I think I should have I should have cut them shorter, or soldered them closer to the circuit board rather than them being so tall. But yeah, maybe for next time. But I still have extra capacitors if I need to, in case the same thing happens again when I have a power outage. But yeah, so if you ever had a blue screen of death, just inspect your circuit board and see if there's anything wrong, and just replace whatever you see wrong, and hopefully it'll fix it. So yeah, so I fixed the fridge for like less than $5, and I didn't need to buy a new fridge. So I was like, oh, sweet. So yeah.